Everybody talks about all the negativity regarding social media and online profiles and things such as this: Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, etc., etc. And we know that sometimes people go the narcissistic route and it's all about them. Some people go the dramatic, troublemaking route and just cause drama through social media. Uh, but let's talk about the positive things that have come from social media. I believe that you can only hide yourself so much on social media with fake pictures and fake profiles, because eventually, the truth always comes out. Some way, somehow, the truth always comes out and rises to the top. And I have found personally with social media and having a very prominent online presence through the website and through social media outlets that it keeps me honest. It keeps me honest. It keeps me sober. It keeps me vigilant. It keeps me on the straight and narrow, if you will, because I realize I'm in the spotlight and that everything that I say and everything that I put out there is scrutinized and put under a microscope. So, it helps me always to be my best and to put forth my best, to put my best foot forward, in other words, and to be very careful of what I say and how I say. And it has taught me how to be real, how to be transparent, how to be articulate. And I don't always get it right. Sometimes, the things I say is misunderstood, misconstrued, or I didn't say it in the right way. And then I go back later and say, oh, yeah, I could see how easily that would have been misunderstood. But I think as far as ministers go, I think social media is a great thing because it keeps you transparent. It keeps you humble. It keeps you raw. It keeps you real. It keeps you honest. Another thing that I found is that it keeps you down to earth, and it humanizes you, and it makes you approachable. And these are some things that are very important in ministry. And I guess the only negative is that sometimes it's hard to maintain professionalistic type boundaries. Because you're so transparent, so out there, so accessible, and so approachable in regards to social media, sometimes people maybe attempt to try to take advantage of that. And it's still very important to maintain proper distance, proper boundaries. Not that you're trying to shut anybody out, but that you're not burning the candle at both ends, that you're not, being drained. You still have to maintain some sort of professional, authoritative distance, while at the same time, being accessible and approachable and real and straightforward and transparent and down to earth. It's quite a balancing act, in fact. But I think these are things that are good things that come out of social media, because in some ways, it teaches you how to be a better person. I mean, you can go gonzo with it and go the other route and become a totally despicable person, because one of the negative aspects of social media and having an online presence is that you are in front of an audience, you're in front of the world, but they don't appear as human beings, as people, as the world. So sometimes people don't act or talk the same way on social media as they do in front of a person, because in front of a person, you actually have that physical, visual, tangible presence, and sometimes you're more careful of what you say, and maybe even a little bit fearful of saying certain things. But with people that go to the other end of the spectrum in regards to social media, those safeguards, those filters are taken away, and because there's not a visible, physical, tangible presence in their mind, intellectually, they know that they're speaking to the world, but they don't. It's not humanized. And so they feel they can get on a soapbox and say whatever they want or however they want. And these people never end up good. There's always drama. They're always embroiled and entailed in drama and things that are harmful, hurtful, and it just sends them down a very bad narcissistic road, and they become very bad people. But for others who understand that there are human beings on the other side of the phone, tablet, or computer screen, and they treat the social media platform as if they were speaking to a real live audience that they could see and hear, and that's tangible. It really helps you to be more cautious in what you say and how you say it. And it helps you to hone the skill of becoming more concise, more articulate, especially when you have so many characters you can use, you have so many minutes that you have. You learn to say what you need to say, quick, fast, and in a hurry, concise, and to the point. And you get better at that. So I think social media is a great thing for um, ministers and for evangelists and for teachers and for pastors and rabbis, because, as I said before, it makes them down to earth, approachable, accessible. It keeps them accountable because people will call you out on the carpet when you say or do the wrong thing. Because, as I said, everything that you say and do online on social media in front of the world is scrutinized and put under a microscope. And yeah, people can take things out of context, but you have that opportunity to set the record straight and to clear things up. And it's humbling too, because sometimes you do say the wrong thing in the wrong way at the wrong time, not because you mean to, not because you want to, but because you're human and you mess up and it happens. And you get to be the bigger person and humble yourself and say, hey, what I said, what I wrote here, what I did here was wrong. I wasn't thinking. I was acting out of emotion. I wasn't being rational. And, hey, I'm sorry. I admit that I was wrong and I ask for your forgiveness, and I make amends for that. And, you have a chance to clean things up. And so social media in that aspect is very good, very healthy, very cleansing, very, it's good. Anything can be used for good or for evil. We've seen how television was used and movies are used in an evil way for propaganda, for, spreading wrong messages, for the occult, etc. We know that social media can be used in the wrong way for bullying, for grandstanding and narcissism and soapboxing and all this kind of stuff. But it can also be used for good, to bless others, to encourage others, to strengthen others, to lift others up. Because sometimes social media is the only thing that other people have in regards to a community, especially if they're in a place where they don't have a church or a synagogue, or a group of believers that believe the same way they do, that feel the same way they do, that interpret the scriptures and practice the same way that they do. So sometimes it's great to have that online community that you can go to, and you get your fellowship that way. You get your encouragement and your edification that way as well. So social media and online media is a good thing in that regards. It makes the world a little bit smaller, and it helps people not feel so isolated that live in far-flung communities where Messianic Judaism or Protestant Christianity is not practiced or even against the law or discouraged. So it's where brothers and sisters in Messiah Yeshua all around the world can congregate and can gather and to be one in that aspect, and to edify and strengthen one another. And it's taught me to understand and realize what's really important in faith, to not major on the minors. A lot of people like to get on there and like to nitpick and like to, promote their little sacred cows or pet doctrines and peripheral things that really don't matter, when the only thing that we as believers in Messiah Yeshua need to agree on are the foundational, cardinal things of Scripture that are non-negotiable, like the virgin birth, the deity of Messiah, the atoning death, burial, resurrection, ascension, and soon return of Messiah Yeshua. The truth and inerrancy and applicability of Scripture. Things like this. The foundations of the faith that are set in stone and are non-negotiable. As long as we can unite on those things, we worship the same God, we read the same Scripture, and we believe in the same cardinal things. These other little peripheral things as far as culture and custom and little peripheral pet doctrines, such as, tongues or the gifts of the Spirit or, what have you. Those are minor things that we don't need to, focus on or touch on. To maintain fellowship and unity in the body of Messiah. Whether somebody is a Calvinist or Arminianist, or whether somebody is pre-trib, post-trib, a-trib, or amillennial, or pre-wrath, or whatever theological, stance you want to take. These things are just they're just minor. They're not worth squabbling or fighting over. And everybody has a right to their own opinion and belief in those kind of things. But it's the foundational doctrinal things of Scripture that I mentioned before, the deity of Messiah, the virgin birth, the sinless life and atoning death, burial, resurrection, ascension, and soon return of Messiah, the inerrancy of Scripture, etc. Those are the things that we need to focus on. So let's maintain our focus on the positive aspects of social media and use it as a tool to edify and strengthen believers, as a tool to evangelize the world and to evangelize other people. And let's use it as a force for good, a positive force for good. Like I said, anything can be used for good or for evil. Things such as, technology is neither good nor evil. It's neither good nor bad. It's how you use it which determines if it's good or bad. So anything can be used in a wrong way. I mean, I can take a scalpel and use it, and in the hands of a skilled surgeon, it can bring healing and restoration and life to somebody. But in the hands of a crazy psycho, it could be used as a deadly weapon that can harm and hurt and maim and cause death. So the scalpel, there's nothing evil about the scalpel, nothing good or bad about the scalpel. It's how you use the scalpel. So it's the same thing with social media. So I want to try to focus and maintain my focus on the positive aspects and the positive things about social media in regards to being a minister and a teacher, and how social media can help me become a better, more grounded, more down-to-earth, more honest, more transparent, more humble person, because it helps keep me accountable, because I am in the public eye, and what I say and what I do is scrutinized. So that's why social media is important, and I think it's a good and positive thing, and it can be a very healthy thing if it's used in a healthy way. Anyways, thanks so much for taking the time to listen. This is Chris Shoemaker, also known as Yehuda Ben Shomer, for Ray Bash's Ramblings. You go out there and have a great day. Shalom and Shavua Tov. Come check out the playlist, Ponderings of the Pirkei Avot, on the Ray Bash Katan YouTube channel, which is a complete video commentary on all the chapters and verses of the Jewish work, Ethics of the Fathers, from a Messianic perspective.